Welcome to It's Your Business, a program designed to highlight our local small businesses who participate in contracting and procurement opportunities at Houston Community College. I'm your host, Veronica Douglas. Today's guest is Michelle Levi, President and CEO of Elite Image Tax and Notary Service, which is a Houston-based accounting firm providing administrative and back office support. While so many non-traditional businesses suffer from improper managing of resources, Elite Image specializes in certified payroll, contract management and compliance, and internal audits. Michelle is a graduate of Baylor University, where she received a Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration with a concentration in accounting and taxation. Michelle, thank you for coming on and welcome to our program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, Michelle, you are truly quite the numbers lady. Let's talk a little bit about yourself and your background and what drew your interest to accounting and taxation.
Man, you want the long version or the short version? So it's like I first got introduced to accounting in high school. That's when we had electives, right? And that was the only elective that was open. And I liked my instructor, Mr. Rockamore at the time, and he made it really exciting. I was like, this looks so boring, but he really made it exciting and it came to life. And I think that's where I really took excitement to it. And then everybody's like, I'm strange. And then I went to college and it was like, Michelle, what are you doing? Oh, I'm in the math club. What? Who joins the math club willingly? I did. So it just really started from there. And then in college, I interned for John Hewitt that started Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. That 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 was the most exciting internship that I've ever done. And I think through those exposures, that's what gave me the platform. After spending time in corporate America, I was like, "Oh, I can do this." And so I took the plunge.
Well, you definitely can do it, and you've been doing it since 2012. So
Yes,
tell us, that's quite an accomplishment for a local small business.
yes, it really is. And sometimes, even now when you were introducing me, I was like, man, we really do some awesome stuff. And it's like you get so excited. But yes, I'm a native Houstonian, grew up in South Park. My mom still lives there. Um, Went to college, came back home, and I've never wanted to be any other place except where I am because Houston's a phenomenal city with so many opportunities. And I just said, I want a piece of that. I want to be a part of that movement. And so that's really what we've been doing. Um, Over the Christmas break in 2012, when the kids are on break, and I was like, I'm just gonna quit my job. And everybody was like, what are you talking about? And I literally on December 26th, I went down to the courthouse. I called out from work. I went down to the courthouse and I got the DBA December 26, 2012.
Wow.
And that I didn't go back to work. Um, in September 13th of 2013 is when I became incorporated in the state of Texas. And we've been moving ever since. So it literally happened like that. I was like, I'm not going to work tomorrow.
Well, you're doing an amazing job. Tell us about some of the services that you offer.
Ooh, so when we first started many years ago, we only started, of course, with taxation. Um, that's what I knew, that's what I learned. Um, and I really thought, Veronica, that was all I could do, to be honest with you. And once we got certified, we went to a workshop. Actually, it was Milton Thibodeau's Greater Houston Partnership Breakfast. And I went there and people were talking about certifications. And I thought, oh, I don't know. And so I looked I went to stop by the City of Houston table and I got certified. And so once I got certified, that gave me the opportunity to offer other service offerings that I had no idea were procurement opportunities. And so back office administrative support is one of our services, internal, external audits. We do service assessments, program assessments. That's also included in an audit. Of course, it's taxation. And then we do post-disaster recovery. We've done quite a bit of that contracting in with the City of Houston and Harris County. Financial audits. We've done, thank you, HCC, but we've done several contracts in your finance department, at your West Houston Institute, in your IT department. So we've had some amazing opportunities, and a few of those, thanks to HCC, we were the prime. And so I tell everybody, they gave me my first prime opportunity. And so, and that's really what we do through the MBDA. We partnered with you and the MBDA on a grant opportunity for disaster recovery guide for small businesses. So we wrote that, and to help small businesses, and I utilized that actually a couple of weeks ago when I was speaking and sharing that this guide came out of the HCC and the MBDA wanting to help businesses recover. And it's like, Michelle, can you write it? Yes, I can write it. And so there you go. And so it's always, and all of that leads back into administrative support, back office support. When you're building and creating, is not necessarily what other people would think. It's about those smaller opportunities that can be utilized and to help people to grow in whatever it is that they're seeking to. So that's kind of who we are and what we've been doing, and we try to answer the phone when y'all call.
Well, before we take a quick break, Michelle, just quickly tell us what certifications you hold so that our audience knows exactly what you're speaking about.
Oh my God, we got that much time, huh? So I am City of Houston MBDA, I'm sorry, MW, Women Minority DBA. I'm Airport ACDBE. I am Metro SBD, State of Texas Hub. We're working on 8A, and we're the hub zone. And so we're part of the Texas Unified System. And so that gives us opportunities to go after other contracting in Austin, San Antonio, and things like that. But a lot of those certifications came about because I was in the interagency mentor protege program that HCC hosted along with Metro and a few of the other agencies. And so we've just recently finished certifying in the state of Louisiana, which the City of Houston helped us to do that because we're a part of that unified system. And so now we're a DBE in Louisiana and Hudson firm, as well as a few of the federal, like the woman-owned self certification with SAM.gov. So we've tried to reach out into different markets where we want to capture opportunities, and each one has its own, but here gives us the opportunity to be able to do that because of what the programs that you guys have created here in Texas. It makes it easy and say, oh, you're in Texas. Yes, well, they have this. I know. So here's the paperwork. So that is what that is. And you got to keep up with all of the annual certifications, right? It's like,
Well,
oh my God.
let's hold that thought for a second and come back after our commercial break. And I want to talk more about the disaster recovery booklet that you created because it is on your website and it is a good resource for our viewers. So let's take a quick break When we return, we will continue our conversation and touch base about the recovery booklet that you created for HCC.
When the last bell rings, don't stress about what comes next. At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. From healthcare to tech, or business to the arts. Open the door to HCC Real World Education, where passions become careers. Find more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
It's so sad. It's not.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us as we continue our conversation with Michelle, who is the president and CEO of Elite Image Tax and Notary Service. And Michelle, before the break, we were discussing the disaster recovery booklet that you created specifically for our small businesses. Let us know where that booklet is located and exactly what is in that booklet that is helpful to our local small businesses.
So we created an electronic version. We do have some printed versions through HCC, the MBDA office, but it is posted on my website. I believe that the MBDA has a link to it as well, but it's on my website, www.eliteimagetacx.com. Click on the guide. So it was created out of the lack of businesses knowing what to do with themselves after a disaster. Because even though we have a disaster, you needed funding. You need, to restructure. You need to file taxes. And so what are the things that you need to do as a business to always prepare yourself? Use this guide to look at what you've done, what you haven't done, and that's okay. Sometimes as business owners, I think we're a little hard on ourselves because while we're focusing on one thing, sometimes you may let something else, fall behind. The book is there to help you to look at how do I become more resilient? What is it that I need to do to prepare myself throughout the year? How can I back up documents? I love paper. That's what accounting for. We like paper. We got paper everywhere, but you want to keep electronic copies of everything. As we're moving into different, with AI and different automation system implementations, you got to have electronic documents. You can go back to some of your vendors or suppliers and ask for different things, but you want to make sure that you're creating that. What are you looking at as far as if you're going after funding? And then you determine, oh my God, my financials are not accurate. I need a balance sheet. What does that look like? Sometimes, and QuickBooks is not your friend all the time. You got to have a trusted source to give you that information. I liked it because there was a part in looking at how we are reduce our debt, how we can look at what our risk, assess our own risk. You can do that internally. I know we will pay for that consulting, but do your own risk assessment. Look at each of your departments. Look at how they're functioning between each other. And these are things that you can be doing throughout the year to help you to sustain that. And so I'm excited that you brought this up right now, Veronica, because we're moving into disaster season, here in a couple of months in Houston. How can I reduce debt in the company while I'm sustaining? Assess where you are. Where is your spending? For us, one example, during Harvey, and I love my budgets, but during Harvey, we did have a budget. Not Harvey, it was COVID. I'm sorry. During COVID, we were budgeting. I only budgeted for $3,000 in supplies because we outsource and we work on other sites. So I only budgeted $3,000. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. for supplies. When COVID came and I had to shift everyone to work from home, our equipment went up because I had to buy printers, I had to buy computers. And we're talking about some families that even though they're working every day, they didn't have access for that. So I had to buy computers, I had to buy printers. I was delivering paper, drop shipping paper so that they can continue working. And I'm very grateful that we were on the Harris County COVID response for that. And my supplies went up. How did I know that? I mean, of course, we're doing it, but because my budget told me so. And so now we have all of these computers at the office that we gotta keep and manage because you don't know when the next disaster is gonna come. And some people think that disasters for businesses is only weather related, but it's not. It is health related. What if the owner gets sick? It could be a financial disaster. COVID was a health disaster. So get into the mindset of thinking there are multiple types of disasters that can affect the outcome of your business. And I think that's why I got excited about the booklet, because it gave business owners just a small tool of what they can use to help make themselves resilient. Look at where you can cut costs. I know while you're growing, you're thinking, I can't cut costs. Yes, you can, right? You can look at everything that you're spending to do things. But there are so many of you, Veronica, agencies that are willing to help and to give us opportunities to grow. You got to utilize the resources that are there for you. And I think we don't do enough of that as well. So if we did that, check out the guide. That can give us some foundations that we need, because we need something solid to stand upon, and you need the resources that are available to us to help us to grow.
Well, one of the things that you're able to do through your company is offer tailored assessment services.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about that. How do you do that, or how are you doing that for our small businesses?
First of all, you got to get the small business to agree that they need an assessment. We are internet savvy these days. We Google everything. But first you got to be able to get the business to understand that they need this assessment, especially if they're going for any type of funding. If they're looking to grow, and even for certifications, you need financials. It starts with that. Hey, let's see what you've been doing. If you're a new startup, you're not going to have as much as someone that's been in business, more than three to 5 years. Let's look at where you are, what you've been doing. The first question is, are you structured properly? We got a lot of small businesses that are doing a business, and so they can't get the government contracts. They can't go after procurement because they're not structured properly. And I think that if, when you get that assessment to find out where you are financially, that helps you to get the foundation to be able to grow. So we look at where you are, we look at what you've been doing, and then the question that we ask is, what are you trying to do? What are your goals? What is your short-term goal? Short-term may be that certification. Short-term may be, brick and mortar, moving in. Well, you're going to need financials to be able to rent space. So we just ask those basic questions, and then how can we help you to get there over time if you're willing to go through the process. Any type of financial restructuring is not easy. It can be a little painful, but once you determine, I can do this and we'll do this together, you'll see the lasting impression that it will have on your business, because you've taken that step to put it together. And most people don't want to talk about finances in public, right? They don't want to share, in groups what that looks like. So the assessments, the one-on-one assessments, are really important. And I recommend that anyone, that you seek to do that, because that is the financial component of your business is a very private, moment that we all have. And so I would just suggest that you go after that. You want that. You need that for growth.
Well, we are truly knee deep in tax season, and I know there's so many tips and pointers that you can
Oh,
offer to our small businesses. So let's take a quick break. And then when we return, I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about the things that small businesses could do proactively and throughout the year to make sure that they avoid any type of IRS audit. And I'd also like you to tell us how you can help their business during this time. So we will
Okay.
be right back.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own, a place that I call home, this place that I call home.
If you love them enough to crawl into a place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back. And during the break, I was talking to Michelle about tax season, and she was telling me what an exciting tax season this has been. So I'd love to hear her thoughts on that and how she can help the small businesses with their taxes.
So it has really been I did say exciting, but it's also been evolving. It's been evolving since January 1. Some tips that I think about that I could share. Number one is to file on time, right? The penalties are changing, interest rates are changing, penalties for not filing. The penalties are increasing. And if the small business is already in trouble, you can't afford the penalties. If I can impress anything on you, that would be is to file on time. Please know that extensions do not extend the payment. It only extends you time to file the return. And so when you file an extension and you still owe, the penalties are massive for that. That has changed. So please try to avoid filing extensions, file on time. If you were an S Corp or a partnership, your return was due 2 weeks ago, March 15th. I hope you got that in. If not, I would say get it in as soon as possible. Corporate returns and individual returns are due April 15th. Nonprofits are due May 15th. And then file your state franchise report, your sales and use tax. We are in a different economy with ever-changing rules and regulations. And so for a business to stay ahead and be compliant, file all your returns where you need to. Your employer taxes. Are you current with that? Are you current with your TWC? Any business reportings that you need to, I'm gonna impress upon you to make sure those are current and filed, because the businesses, especially small businesses, we can't afford the penalties, and they're massive and they're changing. For businesses, please make sure that you're tracking what those deductions are based on your tax structure. Speak to somebody. You can give us a call at the office. One of the things that we've offered is a 30-minute consultation for business owners, whether it's virtual or in person. You have 30 minutes, but you better get everything in that 30 minutes, because after that we go to an hourly rate, but we give that to you just to give you some pointers. And to believe it or not, if we look through what you've been doing, we can see a lot within that time frame. So you want to get an assessment. You want to do a tax comparison. How does your business look over a 3-year period? Which is good to know, and it's easy to do. Just ask for a tax comparison. You want to know what tax bracket you fall in as an individual, but where does your business sit financially? Are you taking the right deductions? Are you expensing the right things? Is the owner and the business two separate entities? You should be. There should be no commingling. If you are a business owner, pay yourself an appropriate salary every 2 weeks and leave the rest of the money in the business as it should. I do that. I get paid every week. I don't get paid till next Friday, and I can't wait.
Me neither. So Michelle, in closing, for our viewers that are interested in contacting you for your services, let us know what your website is or your phone number. How can someone contact you to utilize your services?
Man, so we are on, of course, we're on LinkedIn and we are on Facebook. We just got into Instagram, and only because my daughter was like, "Mama, you need to move up." And I was like, "Okay." So we're not talking yet, but we are on Instagram. You can give us a call at our office, 713-393-8752 is our main office downtown at 1301 Texas Street. You can email me, michelle.levi@eliteimagetax.com. You can also utilize our client services email address, and you'll get immediate response from someone there, client services at eliteimagetax.com. Office number, website, www.eliteimagetax.com. And you can Google us, Google Michelle McDaniel. I freaked out when all of that, I Googled myself and all that came. I was like, man, who put all that out there? But you can Google us, and that'll give you office information as well. And then you can, go to the website, call the office. We're there year round. We do not close on April 16th. So we are operational 365. So even if you were a do-it-yourself person and then you got a love letter in the mail, give us a call.
Well, thank you,
713.
Michelle, for coming on. We really appreciate all the insightful information that you've provided today, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
For It's Your Business, I'm your host, Veronica Douglas, and we look forward to seeing you again in our next episode.